In this video, we're going to take a little trip down memory lane and look at the first generation iPad. Hey everyone, Simon here. So here it is, the 2010 first generation iPad, the very first iPad, and I can remember buying this at a very expensive price. I actually got the 64 gigabyte model, and at that time I believe it cost like $699, and this is just the Wi-Fi model. That's without the cellular. I think that's like an extra $100, but this is in fact my very first iPad, and it came out in again 2010, and I wanted to see what is it like to use this iPad in 2023. Is there anything that I could do with it? So first thing I want to check is, let's give it a try and see if we can even go on YouTube. Now I know the YouTube app no longer works. This was a built-in YouTube app that was included with iOS 3 when this first shipped with the iPad. And for a while they took that out and it doesn't work anymore. So let's see if I'm able to use Safari, and let's see if I'm able to go on YouTube. Let's see what happens. Yep, and YouTube does not work on Safari. I'm not even able to load anything. Let's see what other websites I could go to actually. Let's try Amazon. Let's see what that work. I just forgot how slow this iPad is now compared to what I have now. And it loads, but unfortunately it just looks really weird. It's not loading properly. There's things missing, absolutely. Yeah, so definitely not a good experience when you're trying to browse the web with this, because just like a lot of stuff don't really work. Let's try another website. Let's try another shopping website. Yep, same thing. Again, this is a very old browser, so I don't really expect a lot of websites to work with this browser that well. Yep, exactly. So the browsing experience, the internet surfing on this device now is just really unusable to a point where like it's not even worth it. So let's see what else we can do. So I can't go on YouTube. Definitely that's not something we could do. Let's take a look at the built-in map. This is basically Google's map, but it doesn't have like turn-by-turn directions. This is just more of a map, and you just kind of have to look at it and figure out the directions on your own. And even though it loads, let me just type in some sort of a city. Let's see what happens. I mean, it loads, but I don't know if anything is accurate or up to date. So yeah, it works, but I don't know if it's pulling up the new data. So like, say for example, looking for a restaurant, does it show up here? Who knows? But for me, I've always liked using Google Maps as a turn-by-turn direction kind of system. Unfortunately, this is not it, so I'm definitely not going to use it. Now let's see what else we can do. Let's try accessing the App Store. I know I've been having troubles accessing the App Store, and there was this weird thing where I kept getting cannot connect to like the iTunes Store or something like that. So there was this fix that I found online that I had to really change the date and time. So I changed it, and there's a specific date. You have to change it before June 27th. So any date before June 27th, the App Store will load. So it's very strange. So I looked at my old purchases and see if I could download the older version of YouTube. Let's see if this loads up now. So I'm gonna type in YouTube, and let's see if I can download an old version of it. Nope. Can't even download the old version of YouTube. Normally it'll let you do that, but for some reason it just won't let you do that anymore. So I can't download an old version of YouTube. I know a long time ago Chrome did support this at the very beginning, but later on they just stopped supporting it. So let's see if I could download Chrome. Same thing with Chrome as well. And I remember Spotify worked here as well. So let me see if I could download Spotify, and I'm pretty sure the results are going to be the same as well. Yep, so things do load, but unfortunately you just can't download the older version of an app that you have downloaded a long time ago. So unfortunately that doesn't work. But the App Store does load, but unfortunately I don't think any of these apps will actually work. So let's look at the iTunes Store. This is where you could buy music, possibly some TV shows, and I remember everything here at the very bottom. It's pretty much everything. Movies, TV shows, podcasts, audiobooks, iTunes U. Like now these are all like separate apps on the phone. Before then, when you first had the iPad or the old version of iPad OS, it's just everything was put into one thing in the iTunes Store. So let's see with podcast. Let's see what we can find. Now I did search for something. I was trying around with this, before I started recording, and I'm just gonna see if I could just play a show or something to see if it works. Nope. Here we go again. Cannot connect to iTunes Store. So can't really do much with the podcast section. Movie trailers don't exist anymore. Movie trailers. Let's see. Let's try audiobooks. I mean, they load, but the problem is once you start clicking on the purchase button or something like that, it just does not let you do it. And iTunes U. Yeah, iTunes U, I think it's a different app entirely. Yeah, so it looks like the iTunes Store doesn't really work that well, unfortunately. So, and of course it crashed on me too. So I've been seeing a lot of that recently too on this old iPad. So next thing I want to check out is syncing videos and music from my computer to this device. And I haven't done this in a long time, since newer devices now, a lot of stuff is just really from iCloud or even streaming. This was a process. It took me a while to figure it out. And I would think you would just put it in the movies folder and you could see it once you open up Finder. I'm using a Mac to do this, but unfortunately that was not the case. And after doing some research, what I had to do was I had to open the Apple TV app in the applications folder and then import the videos into that library, so that way Finder will see the video. Now I'm able to sync it. And even when I synced it, I still had some problems playing some of the videos. So I had a 720p video, that one worked fine, I was able to sync. I had a 1080p video and a 4K video, just wanted to test it out, see if it works. And unfortunately, those videos weren't able to sync. I got an error message from Finder that those two videos won't be able to sync. But let's take a look and see how it performs with a 720p video. Yeah, and it's pretty good. I have no lagging issues. It's definitely is a 720p video. You might not be able to see it on this recording. So that was a brief little example. And let's see the music part. So I have a couple of playlists. I have a playlist with 2 tracks, and let's see what it looks like. I could even do cover flow if there's a opera image. So it's definitely still able to play music and some 720p videos. The only app I was actually able to install, and I had this a long time ago on this iPad, I haven't really touched it as often, is this thing called Files. What I was trying to do was do file transfers of different things rather than using iTunes or the Finder. And this is an old app. I don't even know if I can get it, so I'm just not gonna risk deleting it. So with this app, what I did was I transferred the 4K video and the 1080p video. And the 4K video still doesn't work, but the 1080p video, let me play that back. This clip is just very short. And it seems like playing something 1080p does work. Just you can't use the video app on the iPad to play it. So that's one thing you could try if you have this iPad, but I wouldn't go all the way out just to try to play a 1080p video on this older iPad. You know, you got photos. Yeah, you got different photos. You can still use it as a good little picture frame, a slideshow. Yeah, this is the iPad 1, and if you look at it, this was even before there was even a camera on the iPad itself. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, pretty heavy too. It's probably like, I remember buying this and opening it up and playing around. I was like, wow, this is pretty heavy. And the old home button, pretty cool. And yeah, this is the old way of multitasking on an iOS device. Yep. And I remember the specs on this iPad. It was like an A4 processor. Wasn't exactly sure how much RAM it was. I think it was like not even a gigabyte. It's probably less than that. It's like 512 megabytes, I believe. Again, I got the 64 gig model. This cost like $699, and definitely it was really the entryway for the tablet world, and this was the first one. But everyone, I want to know, what's your opinion on the first generation iPad? You know, did you ever own one of these? Do you still have one lying around the house? Leave your comments below.